Thank you for your patience, and we apologize for the unplanned delay. 2 of the buses are being held up right now, but they will arrive very shortly. So given the time constriction, we will go ahead and begin. We shall commence our session momentarily. Designated seating arrangements have been prepared for participants of work packages 1, 2, and 3, as apparently you already found. Kindly proceed to your assigned tables. Refreshments are available at the rear of the venue for your convenience. Distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, it is my distinct pleasure and also privilege to welcome you to the Open HEU session on day 2 of the SKERIC Forum. I am Helen Shin, Professor of Media Studies and also the Director of the Center for International Research Collaboration. I trust yesterday's proceedings at Seoul National University proved intellectually stimulating. Our agenda for the next 2 days at Korea University encompasses the Open HEU session, followed by work package-specific workshops, a scholarly roundtable discussion, the Nobel Symposium, the HEU Grant Workshop. To inaugurate our proceedings, I'm honored to invite Korea University's Vice President of Research Affairs, Professor Hyun-Jung Lee, to deliver opening remarks. Please welcome him with a round of applause.
안녕하십니까? 영어 준비해 온 영어 원고를 인사말로 읽겠습니다. Distinguished participants from Swedish universities, representatives from Korean universities, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm Hyun-Jung Lee, Vice President for Research Affairs at Korean universities. It is a great honor to deliver the opening remarks for Open Horizon Europe, one of the most significant events held during Nobel Laureate Week, and one that holds special importance for Korea University as well. As you are well aware, Horizon Europe is the world's largest research network and project. Beginning next year, in 2025, Korea will join as an associated member of Horizon Europe, enabling our local higher education institutions, including Korea University, to contribute their expertise and skills to this ambitious initiative. Korea University is a leading research university, both in Korea and globally. We are deeply committed to advancing collaborative research with international institutions, and we believe Horizon Europe is unparalleled in its scale and impact, surpassing any other global initiative to date. In preparation for active participation in Horizon Europe, Korea University has been strengthening its research infrastructure, including the establishment of our new international research collaboration centers, alongside ongoing discussion with European partners. Korea University is ready to take on a leading role in this endeavor. Over the next 2 days, several events, including sessions related to SKERIC and various work packages, will be held on our campus. Additionally, a training session for the Horizon Europe team has been organized. I encouraged everyone to make the most of this event, using this opportunity to connect and explore how we can work together to succeed in these pivotal milestones. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the 5 Swedish universities and Embassy of Sweden and Seoul National University and PostTech for their invaluable contribution in organizing and supporting today's event. I'm confident that today's gathering will open new pathways for Korean and Swedish universities to make the lead in Horizon Europe in the year to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now let us proceed with the formal commencement of the Open HEU session. Our program comprises 3 20-minute presentations, followed by a 30-minute panel discussion. Each presentation will conclude with a brief question and answer period. For our inaugural presentation, Korean Aspirations within HEU, I am pleased to introduce Mr. Sang-ha Woo from the NRF HEU office. Please welcome him with a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here at SKERIC event, collaborative program between leading universities in Korea and Sweden. My name is Sang-ha Woo, and I'm the team head of the Horizon Europe Task Force at National Research Foundation of Korea. To be honest, I was a little surprised when I was asked to lead this team, because I've dedicated my career to East Asian studies, and my only experience in Europe was a single trip as a tourist. So I initially hesitated, unsure how my background would fit into European research context. But I've come to realize what a fantastic opportunity this is to bring a unique perspective, learn from experts in the field, and contribute to international research collaboration. Although I still have much to learn, I'm deeply impressed by Horizon Europe's approach to tackling global challenges through systematic collaboration and research. The emphasis on consensus building and institutional frameworks has been a source of inspiration for me as a member of the research funding agency. I think this is exactly why both Korea and EU want to work together on Horizon Europe. Global R&D collaboration is a hot topic in Korea right now. Our researchers are highly capable and have a potential to achieve even greater things through international collaboration. With this in mind, the Korean government aims to strengthen international partnership and secure global research leadership through associate membership in Horizon Europe in 2025. Horizon Europe is designed to foster joint research and innovation on a global scale. Korea is actively taking steps to become the first associate member in Asia, marking a significant step in our commitment to international research cooperation. So let me briefly Korea's objectives in Horizon Europe. Firstly, we want to expand the global research network. By participating in Horizon Europe, we want to connect with leading European research institutions and researchers, fostering joint research and expanding our international network. Right now, most Korean researchers have a strong connection with the US, China, or Japan. These countries are definitely strong in research, but we know that collaborating with the diverse perspectives is key to making real breakthroughs. Working with the top-notch researchers in Europe will add a whole new dimension to our network. We believe this will lead to new research paradigms and ultimately contribute to the advancement of human society. And secondly, we are looking to enhance the research capacity. We seek to enhance our research capacity by engaging in cutting-edge research projects and exchanging knowledge with our European counterparts. And Europe has some of the best research facilities and equipment in the world. Through Horizon Europe, Korean researchers will gain access to these cutting-edge resources, elevating the quality of their research. Horizon Europe also emphasized open innovation and civil society collaborate. Participating in this environment will allow Korean researchers to generate new ideas and achieve innovative research. And thirdly, we want to gain experience in multilateral research programs. By participating in Horizon Europe, Korea can learn from a leading multilateral cooperation model and strengthen its leadership in international research collaboration. This experience will extend beyond Europe. Korean researchers will gain valuable know-how in consortium building and project management applicable to any international project. The Korean government and NRF can also benchmark Horizon Europe's advanced system and institutions and optimizing our research support framework for international collaboration. Furthermore, this experience will be invaluable in establishing a new cooperative governance, especially within Asia. The Ministry of Science and ICT and the NRF are diligently preparing for Korea's participation in Horizon Europe. Our team is committed to supporting Korean researchers in various ways. Here's what we are focusing on. First is promoting Horizon Europe. We've introduced this amazing international collaboration platform in Korea, but many Korean researchers still don't know much about Horizon Europe. We are working hard to close this information gap, promoting the program and getting more Korean researchers involved. We have hosted multiple information sessions to highlight the benefits of Horizon Europe and address researchers' inquiries. We know it's tough to prepare a really strong proposal quickly, but our goal right now is to get as many Korean researchers as possible working with the European partners and applying for Horizon Europe funding. We know and second is providing comprehensive information. We are putting together resources to help researchers understand the Horizon Europe better, like guides on using EU funding and tenders portal, figuring out work programs and call for proposals, and navigating those key administrative processes. We know that language can be a challenge for Korean researchers who want to get involved with the Horizon Europe. So our team is busy translating key resources into Korean to make it easier for everyone to understand. Third is facilitating network building. We recognize that successful participation in Horizon Europe depends on strong consortia. To help researchers build those vital networks, we are providing support through a few key initiatives. One way we are doing this is through the Korea-EU Cooperation Program. This program provides Korean researchers with 25 million won per year for Horizon Europe program, Horizon Europe preparation. This program helps Korean researchers travel to Europe, meet potential partners, and work on project proposal together. It's really helpful for researchers who might find it difficult to build those international connections. Second, we are strengthening our regional contact points NCP system. NCPs are a key part of Horizon Europe, offering expert guidance on specific courses within Pillar 1 and Pillar 2, and keeping researchers updated on important EU trends. They also play a crucial role in facilitating network and consortium building. Korea already had NCPs even before we were thinking about becoming an associate member, but they couldn't do as much or get as much information as they can now. Now that we are on our way to becoming associate member, we are making some big changes to our NCP system, bringing in and supporting experts from all sorts of fields. These NCPs will be a vital link between Korea and EU researchers. Our team was set up in August this year to help Korean researchers get involved in Horizon Europe. We are working with the Ministry of Science and ICT and the Korea EU Research Center in Europe to make it easier for Korean researchers to connect with the European counterparts and really get involved in Horizon Europe. To do this, we are looking at how other EU countries do things to figure out the best system for Korea, and Sweden keeps coming up as a great example. SKERIC is a fantastic example of what Korea and Swedish researchers can achieve when they work together. We can make a bigger impact, speed up innovation, and encourage the next generation of researchers. I'm sure this partnership will lead to amazing discoveries and make our countries even closer. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. The floor is now open for Q&A. Please raise your hand and our staff will provide you with a microphone. Any questions? For NRF or any aspects of the presentation, we can deliver you the microphone. Not yet, I guess. Well, it is still very early in the morning, and I imagine a lot of us are still jet-lagged, but if you do have any questions, we'll be more than happy to connect you through different channels, including emails, but more. So please feel free to let us know if you have any further questions down the road. Thank you once again very much. So let us proceed to our next presenter, Mr. Dan Andre of Global Approach, who will tell us about the EU funding landscape. Please extend a warm welcome to Mr. Andre with a round of big applause.
Thank you, and thank you very much indeed for inviting me here today. I very look forward to the days here in Seoul. My name is Dan Andre, and I represent the University Alliance Stockholm Trio in Brussels. So one of the universities is the Royal Institute of Technology, which is a member of SKERIC, and the other two is a medical university, Karolinska Institutet, and the General University, Stockholm University. And just to start a little bit, to say, in Brussels, we have a big network of universities, 180 universities. We actually have 2 Japanese universities in this network. And I hope now when you get associated that we will see the SKERIC universities from Korea also represented in Brussels, because it's very useful to be in Brussels. And of course, as the former speaker mentioned, also the EU Research Center in Brussels, the Korea KERC, and of course we have very good contacts and discussions with your representatives in Brussels. So I will now turn to the purpose of this speech. The funding landscape in Brussels is quite complicated, but the advantage is that it doesn't really change by time, so you can reuse the information. And I wrote actually a couple of books about how to set priorities and how to take part in the framework program 15 years ago, and they're still valid, so you can download them if you are interested to have a look at them. Well, looking at the EU research and innovation landscape, it has been surrounded, you can say, by crisis and war, even all the time since it started. You know, it started already just after the Second World War, when we had the Euratom program in fission and fusion, which is still there and separate from the framework program. Then we have the Cuba crisis in '62. Then the EU started to talk about the need to close the gap between Europe and US. Then we had the Arab-Israel War 1973, and we started to talk it's important to have more coordination of research between member states. And then we had the Strategic Defense Initiative, the Star Wars, and this was the start of the first framework program, 1984. And it was also the start of the Eureka program, which of course Korea joined in 2009. So we have this landscape the first 20 years, which was quite simple. The framework program 1 to 5, it was project-based, supporting transnational collaboration between researchers and industry. And we also had a mobility program. And then, of course, we had national programs which were separated. Then, year 2000, we started to talk about the European research area, to have a European internal market for research, where researchers, technology, and knowledge can freely circulate. You know, in Europe, we have the 4 freedoms with goods, service, people, and capital, which can move freely between the countries in Europe. And of course, the 5th freedom is very much now on the agenda for the next framework program, FP10, which I will mention a bit about. So the landscape is quite complicated if you look from the whole scale, from basic research to deployment. But we also then, Sweden has been really contributing to the development of the framework program. And I think the most important conference was in Lund 2009, where we started to talk about the need to attack global challenges and also to cooperate more at global level, because we cannot solve the global challenges in Europe. We have to cooperate with the rest of the world. So this has actually influenced the framework program Horizon 2020 and Horizon Europe. And of course for you it's partly simpler because you are focusing on one program, and of course here you are focusing on Pillar 2, although of course I know that you can also take part in some parts of European Research Council and Marie Skłodowska-Curie Action, which is not a part of the association. But here today I think we mainly focus on Pillar 2. And of course the framework program also goes all the way from basic research to market, and of course you can also take part in Eureka, which is between applied research and demonstration. So I think the former speaker has already told us how important the framework program is. It is the most powerful research and innovation program. Apart from the 27 member states, you have also now 20 associated states. And also very interesting, there are over 110 developing countries, low and middle income countries. They can take part with funding. So for example, if a Korean researcher cooperates with a researcher in Vietnam, the Vietnamese researcher can get funding from the framework program. So this is very good for you to know that you can take partners from these countries. And then of course we have the more industrialized countries who can participate without funding. And the only countries not able to take part is North Korea and Russia at the moment. All other countries can take part. So I think also that your representative from NRF said quite a lot about the association, so I can be very short here, I think, about the changes that you can get funding. And of course, you will mainly take part in the 6 clusters, which are quite top-down, which we will see when you look at call for proposals. And we are now preparing for the work program for next year, and I will come back to that. And of course, the rules are that you have to have 3 different participants from 3 independent countries. And for associated countries, you have to have 1 member state. So for example, if you as a researcher for one of your universities cooperate with a Swedish university, you need another partner, but that partner can also come from another associated country. It doesn't have to be a member state. So it's also interesting to see, I hope very much that this association can increase the cooperation between Sweden and Korea. And I was just looking at some figures, and actually South Korea has the largest number of scientists and researchers in the working population. And actually Sweden is in second place. So I think that is a good start that we have so many relatively scientists in our countries and well above the average in Europe. So this is my favorite slide now. So the framework program is not a research program. It is a political instrument where researchers are needed. What does this mean? Well, if we look now at the priorities of the EU, and in a way, my personal view is that you can take away Europe here because these are global challenges, so we all need to be there to solve them. But of course, when we cooperate in Europe, we focus on the European aspect, but they are really global challenges, all of them. And the framework program is not a separate priority. So that's what I mean, that it is a political instrument to make sure that we achieve these goals. And of course, Horizon mainly contribute to the Green Deal and the digital future, but also the other three priorities. So it means that researchers must be a little bit aware of the political goals. And this is, of course, very different from when you apply from a research council, for example, where you only need to focus on the content. So I won't go into the details here, but if you are in a project, you focus on the last part here to get project results, of course. But when you write the application, you also have to look what kind of short-term and longer-term impact can you expect? And how will this short and longer-term impact contribute to the overall goals? So that is how you have to think a little bit. But when the project starts, you can forget all about it and just focus on the project results, of course. And the interesting thing is here that when you are associated, you will be able actually to contribute to the work program, so you can also influence the impact here. And that is the advantage of being associated. I will very shortly talk about the process here. So we have the European Commission, and they have the mandate to put forward all proposals. And they are decided by the European Parliament and also Council of Ministers, which are representatives from the member states. And when we have a decision, it usually goes back to member states to implement, and can be a law. For example, we have a new law in artificial intelligence, and this goes back to member states. But for the framework program, it's an exception. It goes back to the Commission to implement. And then we have these called program committees which implement the program. And they have a lot of power to influence the content of the work program, which is then what you apply from. And there you have ministries, funding agency, and national contact points involved. And this means that now when you get associated, Korea will actually be a part of this. So you can be active here also and influence the content of the work program. And of course, this is a task of the ministry and the agencies, but in Sweden we involve researchers in this process, and I hope Korea also will involve researchers in this process. So the evaluation, as you probably know, consists of three criteria: excellence, impact, and quality of the implementation. And you often need quite a high score to get the project funded. So how can researchers from Korea prepare for Horizon Europe? You need a strategy. And a strategy, I propose it in different parts. First, you have to articulate what you would like to achieve, for example, compared with your national programs. And then you have to look over your national and international networks. And of course, as a researcher, you already have a lot of networks, both national and at international level, but you need other types of partners and networks for European collaboration. For example, you might have to see if you have collaboration with some end users, is it hospitals, cities or regions at national level, and also at European and global levels. And of course, you also then have to sit down and write down a strategy. And I think my colleague from KTH, Anna, will talk a little bit more about this, because KTH has a very good strategy plan for participation in Horizon Europe. So what are the benefits for Korean researchers taking part? Well, of course, you get funding, you get a unique network around the world, and you get money, but the most important thing is not to get money. The important thing is that you gain knowledge from other partners. That's the only reason why companies go into the program. They are not interested in money. It's the knowledge, and that should be the same for you. And of course, you can contribute to solve global challenges. You can be proactive and influence future programs. And I think also if you look at the success rate, projects with partners from outside Europe, they have higher success rates. So that is also something you can contribute with taking part in the program. So just a minute at the end. So we started the discussion on FP10, which will start 2028. And we had an article actually exactly 2 years ago in November 2022. And here we talk about the importance of what we call pre-competitive collaboration, which is collaboration before product development. And this is very important that we push to keep this collaboration, because it is also easier to collaborate at the international level if you are more not pre-competitive, because if you get near the product development, it is more difficult to cooperate at the international level. So these are some areas come up when you talk about the next framework program, and you will see it's mainly the same: health, energy, sustainable, climate change, and so on. And of course, we have now a lot of discussion about security, crisis preparedness, and I think you are much better prepared for crisis than we are in Europe. And research and innovation is becoming even more important in order to deliver. And of course, the new situation in the US, I think Europe see more cooperation with South Korea and Japan as very, very important. So this is my last slide. I was in Tokyo 2009 and gave a speech, and I was asked to make a prediction for 2025. And then I said, my wish is that we should have not a European research area, but a global research area. And I said, I hope that Japan will be in this research area. I was partly wrong, partly right, but we have now South Korea, and I'm very happy that my prediction was a little bit correct 16 years ago, that we will have Asian countries in the framework program. So this is my last slide. I say you are welcome to Brussels, and I can try to help you there to find a way, which is not always easy if you follow the science. And of course, you are very happy. I'm very happy if you contact me directly at any time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the floor is now open for Q&A. Please raise your hand and we will deliver the microphone to you. Yes.
Thank you for sharing us precious perspectives and the information about the Horizon Europe's. And I have one question, might be a little bit sensitive, but is there any balancing procedure or like affirmative action for the member state of the EU country? I mean, like if is it gonna be like just only based on the papers and technological rigidity, or would that be like evenly distributing this funding to like the all the countries of the EU? So like, yeah.
Your question is about how our position on collaboration with some countries, or?
Yes. So if I want to collaborate with the a country in Europe, EU, and then this country is maybe a little bit of underdeveloped scientific infrastructure, so maybe this country gets some advantages or like choosing the...
No, I would say, you know, that when you put a proposal together, it's up to the partners to decide which partners you have. You have researchers, you have industry from different countries. And the important thing is that if you read the work program, you will see very detailed requests for impact. And you have to sit down and see, how can we deliver this, you know? And it has also to be, if you cooperate with Sweden, it has to be of advantage also for other countries. So you have to look at the whole of Europe and so on. So you put a consortium together, and that it is evaluated by independent evaluators, and they really don't look at the views of different countries at all. It's only the content they look at. So it is really good. You have 3 to 8 evaluators in each project, and they are independent. So we don't have to worry about the standpoint of different countries when you apply for Horizon Europe projects.
Okay, thank you for your answer.
Thank you. Might there be any more questions?
Yes, there is one here.
Yes, great.
Don, I'd like to ask you, I know that in Sweden, for example, we're all often encouraged to participate as evaluators as well, to gain experience. Would that be a possibility also for associate countries?
Thank you actually very much. I've forgotten that to raise this question. So there is a portal. We can make sure that you get a link to this where you can put your name in to become a researcher or be a part of different expert groups. And the Commission also need researchers from outside Europe to evaluate programs. So it would be very good if you could go in there, and you have to put down some keywords, and it's important that you put in keywords which are relevant to the framework program, not only to your own expertise. Sometimes you have to change a little bit, reformulate, but it's a very good thing also. The best way, the best course actually in order to write a proposal is to become an evaluator, because you really see both bad and good proposals. Thank you.
Are there, oh, it's okay.
Hello. Oh, sorry. Hello, my name is Taeyeon Chun, and I'm currently an undergrad engineering student at Korea University. I'd first like to thank you for your insightful presentation. I gained a lot of knowledge about the Sweden and the Korean education research sector. So the question I'd like to ask you is, at the latter part of your speech, you said that in 2009 you were asked to try to predict the future of this research sector 16 years later. So in 2024, like, I'd like to ask you how you would like to predict 16 years from now in the near future.
I haven't thought about that, but well, if we think then about 2040, so we are then in the 11th framework program. Well, I think we will go both ways. I mean, at the moment, I mean, we have actually, unfortunately, looking more that we have to be more self-sufficient, for example. We can't in Europe rely on all critical technologies. I mean, it would be nice, but I'm always optimistic. So I think that 15, 16 years from now, I think maybe we will be able to turn this again and focus again more on open collaboration, because we need open collaboration, because there is no way we in Europe, for example, can actually develop all the technologies we need. So I'm optimistic. I think the picture will be even broader, the one I presented in 2009. So we'll see.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for excellent presentation. I think I learned a lot from 5 minutes ago. I wonder, you know, you said the call for 2025 will be available very soon, and it's going to be top down. So first, how we can impact that call in the future? How can we input our great ideas so that it's going to be listed in the future call for proposals? Second, though somehow it's too specific. When I see the 2023 to 2024 call for proposals, so I mean that may be. The theme may be related, but as I read the description, I don't think it's going to get awarded if I just pursue my ideas, because it's similar, but it's not specifically correct. So how would you recommend in that case, to increase the possibility to win this, Horizon Europe?
It's a good question. I actually think my colleagues here after me will go into this a little bit. I mean, how you can be more active, also to give input to the work program by having a good national contact points system, and also to be active at university levels. I think maybe we can wait and see after the next two presentations. I think some questions will be answered for you.
Great. Speaking of which, because we started late, it's a pity, but we do have to move forward. So once again, thank you so much for your illuminating presentation. And I'm sure it does pay off to be optimistic. So thank you, please. So for the next and final presentation of this session, I'm pleased to introduce Ms. Jenny Wanselius from Vinnova, who will address Swedish participation in HEU. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Wanselius to the podium.
Excellent. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a true pleasure to be here. My name is Jenny Wanselius. I work as head of EU department and the Swedish National Contact Point Coordinator in Sweden. I will talk a bit about Sweden's participation in Horizon Europe, but we do have a session later on today when I talk more in depth about the National Contact Point system, if you're curious about that as well. Vinnova is Sweden's innovation agency, and we are tasked to promote sustainable growth based on research and development and promoting innovation system. And our mission, simply put, is to enable innovation that makes a difference. It makes a difference to Sweden's economy, it makes a difference to the world, it makes a difference to our global cooperation. And we need to promote this innovation that is sustainable for our environment and for society and for our economy. And in order to achieve our goals, of course, we need innovation in the broadest sense. I'm not clicking here. You should tell me when I'm not performing my task. There we go. We need innovation in the broadest sense, of course. It includes research and innovation actions in all the type of projects that can be funded by our own innovation agency, Vinnova, and specifically through Horizon Europe. And this will make Europe and Sweden competitive, and we hope to make a difference in the world. And for this, global cooperation is essential, it's crucial for creating a sustainable future. We have innovation collaborations with a number of countries around the world, and we are also the liaison office and body for Horizon Europe in Sweden. And as a role as a funder, we work for Horizon Europe and increase Sweden's participation and to build international strong collaboration links. We are about 200 employees in Stockholm, but we also have a Brussels office with 2 policy officers, and we have staff in Silicon Valley, Tel Aviv, and Singapore. And as the national contact body for Horizon Europe, we work with the national contact point, as I told you about. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. We also work, we are tasked to help the government office with the program committee experts. And we are also the expert authority when it comes to the framework program and innovation issues. And to fulfill the instructions when it comes to the national contact point and coordinating Horizon Europe work, we have 13 NCPs placed at our office. And we also have NCPs in other government offices. So I'm very pleased to be here in Korea and talk about how you are going to set up this system. And I'm sure we can exchange a lot of good experience. Of course, Sweden's international collaboration within Horizon Europe. Sweden is a small, innovative, and knowledge-intensive country, and we need and we want to collaborate with the best in the world. This map shows all the collaboration links we have within Horizon Europe. And as you can see, we already have 20 links with Korea. But not surprisingly, we work mostly the strongest link with the large countries. We have Germany, Spain, France. That's where we have the strongest collaboration links. And we work also with a lot of the associated countries. And this is what we hope to strengthen with our work here. The Swedish government developed a national strategy for Swedish participation in Horizon Europe, the 7-year program. And the goals are, we want to be among the top participants in terms of share of approved applications. And we want to be granted more than 3.7% of the total granted fund. At the moment, we have 3.4%. So we're working on improving that. We also want all our national programs to include goals to interact with relevant EU-level programs, so all the participants can benefit from the collaboration in their own activities. And what's interesting to look at, what are the top performers in Horizon Europe? These are the top 10 countries up until 2023. When you compare different countries, you have to be a bit careful, of course. Countries differ in terms of population size and the conditions for research and innovation. But it is interesting to look at the top performers. And if you look here, the categories of granted funds, share of granted funds, participations, and coordinators. You can see, and the participations include how many actors in the country are involved in the framework program. And individual organizations can be counted multiple times, of course. So in that category, if they participate in many projects. And coordinators indicate the amount of times a specific country had the coordinating role in a project. And you have also the number of projects actually indicate the number of projects where the country has signed a grant for the project and received the fund. And I think it would be interesting to zoom in on Sweden's participation. And during the past 3 years, approximately 30 billion euros have been distributed, and Swedish organization received a little more than 1 billion euros from this, and that corresponds to 3.4% of granted funds. This is roughly the same share as in the previous framework program. In total, this has resulted in about 2,000 participations, and the same organization can participate multiple times, especially the large universities and major companies that are involved in several projects. But it means that we have 2,000 unique contracts where a Swedish entity has received funding. The majority of these, over 1,200 of the 2,000, fall under Pillar 2, and that's where South Korea will be associated to, which focus on societal challenges and competitiveness and collaborative projects. Additionally, there are 387 Swedish coordinators in that group. In a European context, Sweden stands out. We have academia that accounts for approximately 60% of participation, and then we have the business sector around 23% and research institute about 8%. This is different to most other European countries, and it's clear that we are significantly more academic driven than other countries when we participate in this project. And that's very good for you, because if you look at the top 10 performing organizations in Sweden, so the organizations with the highest results and participations, we have all 5 SKERIC universities in this list. And you can also see, if you look at the map, I don't know how familiar you are with the Swedish map, but it shows you how academically driven Sweden's participation is in Horizon Europe. So wherever we have the strong universities are also the areas where we have the strongest participation. And if you look at granted funds in Pillar 2, Global Challenges and European Industrial Competitiveness, it's interesting to look. We can look at the total granted funds, granted funds to Sweden, and the participations in total. And you can see that it differs a bit where we have our areas of strength. We are very strong in the health cluster with 3.9% of granted funds. And then you can see that we are also very strong in the cluster 5, climate, energy, and mobility, with 3.14% of the granted funds. So how well we perform in the different clusters depend a little bit, of course, but you can also see that the clusters have different, the distribution of budget between the clusters depend a lot. So cluster 4 and cluster 5 have the largest budgets. So how good are the Swedish universities and organizations in writing proposals for Horizon Europe? And this, if you look at the success rate, that's the proportion of projects with the participants from a country that has signed grants and received fund, and it's in relation to all submitted applications with participants from that country. It's a measure of how successful a country and the actors from that country are in participating. The average approval rate for all EU countries is 16.9%, and Sweden performs slightly better. 19.9% of the submitted applications from Sweden are approved. We can consider ourselves successful if we compare both to the all European countries, and also we compare with our neighboring countries, that's Finland, Denmark, and Norway. And we also very often compare ourselves to what we call comparable countries: Denmark, Finland, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, Switzerland, and Austria. these are the countries that have previously been used by a Swedish research council, research barometer, when they compare similar countries in research performance. Success rate in all the sub-programs. It's interesting to look at the success rate throughout Horizon Europe, because when you say that the success rate is a specific percentage, it doesn't mean it's just an average, of course. So it depends a lot on the different sub-program. In Pillar 1, the excellent science, Sweden are slightly weaker in the European Research Council and Marie Curie compared to the average European country. However, for European infrastructure, the approval rate is generally higher from Sweden, and that can be explained by the fact that infrastructure requires very specific conditions for a country to be able to participate, and in Sweden we have very good conditions for that, so we have a large, good approval rate. For Pillar 2, the global challenges and industrial competitiveness, we have an approval rate of 26.4%, and you can see in Cluster 1 and Cluster 5, they're quite good, and you can see the difference in the different clusters. And the higher proportion of Swedish projects receiving support in the clusters are due to, of course, our area of strength in health, in mobility, and in forestry. So I want to sum up a little bit about Swedish collaboration and the collaboration within SKERIC in Horizon Europe. In order to succeed in Horizon Europe, existing networks such as the one you're building up in SKERIC is crucial. And it's good for you to remember that universities are the top performers in Horizon Europe in Sweden, and you have the very best in your project here. Top 5 of Sweden's top 10 organizations. South Korea is one of Innova's strategic countries for collaboration, and that means that we will have a planning grant to support you in building a consortium and preparing a proposal for Horizon Europe. And combining that with the Korea-EU cooperation program that we heard about from the NRF, you have very good conditions for succeeding in this collaboration. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Fonselius, for your comprehensive overview. We welcome any questions from our distinguished audience.
Thank you for your nice presentation. You said that BINOVA is the main contact body in the European, Swedish university and other countries' universities. So how can you explain one of the good example to do that work? Good example to do it. I mean, as the contact body, the BINOVA is a good example to your work.
Thank you very much. We have, at the BINOVA, we are the National Contact Point Coordinator, and we have 13 people working as National Contact Points. And they are tasked with providing support to all the actors in Sweden that wants to participate in Horizon Europe. And that, of course, is universities, and we work very closely with the grants offices at the universities, the research support offices, but we also support industry, small business, the councils, and any type of actor that want to participate. That gives us also a strength, because we know all the different type of actors in Sweden that do collaborate and participate in Horizon Europe.
So how could we Korean researchers can contact with them, and how could we make the relationship with those people?
We are building up a very strong collaboration with the Korean National Contact Point. So to have that strong system of a national contact point in Korea and collaborating with the system in Sweden is a very good starting point. We also have a Brussels office, SKERIC, collaborating with your Brussels office. So you will have many channels for looking to the links, supporting you with building collaborations. I think when you are looking for a Horizon Europe project and building a consortium, the best partner are the SKERIC universities, because all the researchers in the SKERIC universities have very good European networks. So they will also be very good in helping you, and we hope that they will bring you into their European networks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions on the floor? If you do think of any at any later point, please let us know, and we'll make sure that they're conveyed and appropriately responded to. Thank you so much once again for your talk. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this juncture, I would like to convene our panel discussion, or rather, presentations, plural. Please join me in welcoming our esteemed colleagues to the stage, moderated by Ms. Anna Rusk as moderator, Professor Marnia Henriksen, Professor Young-Guk Jung from KTH, and Professor Woo-Kyun Lee from Korea University. The floor is now at your disposal.
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you for the previous speakers for the inspiring interventions indeed. A lot of solid information on both Horizon Europe and Swedish participation in the program. It was good also to hear the Korean aspirations in the coming years. And indeed, we are very thankful for the SKERIC universities for making this happen. So my name is Anna Rusk. I am one of the staff members at KTH, whose role is to support our research in participating in the Horizon Europe program. And I will also take this opportunity to let you know that later on we will have a grant office workshop where we discuss more in details about the support systems and structures that we have in place. So moving on in the agenda to the next part, I have the pleasure to introduce the next part of the agenda, the researchers panel, where we have the chance to hear first-hand experience of the type of collaboration between researchers that the Horizon Europe is funding. So we have tight time constraints, so let's hear more from our esteemed researchers. So may I welcome Marina Henriksson from KTH, Royal Institute of Technology. She's assistant professor in circular energy systems, and she has some experience to share from European participation.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Marina Henriksson. I'm an assistant professor in the energy technology department at KTH. And our department has a very good success rate compared to the other departments at KTH in securing Horizon funding. And we mostly work with the Cluster 5 projects. So we are those ones that outcompete others in climate, energy, and mobility funding. And at the moment we run 4 Horizon funded projects, mostly in, I can do it without the PowerPoint. Mostly focused on the African continent, because the work we do has to do with building capacity for the energy modeling and energy planning for the climate action. And I'm a PI for one of the projects called Reintegrate, where the objective is to reintegrate the both continents, so bringing both continents together, capacities from both continents in terms of developing open modeling tools, bridging the interface with the energy modeling and the policy making, and then so bringing together these two communities, stakeholders that actually to work with developing the models and the tools for assessing the energy systems, and those stakeholders that do make decisions about how to actually improve the energy system or continental energy system, and then the collaboration between two continents. And one of the, so I was asked to talk about what are our success factors, and I think it's very much built on what the previous speakers were talking about. It's first of all, well, Horizon is about excellence. What you're being evaluated on, you're evaluated on the excellence of your research. So we actually do have this excellence in the European context, but it's also based on the historical excellence at the department, the division, and then our large network. We collaborate with more than 70 different countries in the division. So it's countries in Europe, it's countries in Central and Latin America, it's countries in Africa, and it's countries in Southeast Asia and in Asia. So all of those energy system modelers and people that work with climate policymakers, they are part of our consortium. So for the Reintegrate project, where I'm a PI, we have 16 different countries from 16 different institutions, 8 in Africa and 8 in Europe. And the idea was also that it's the strength of the network itself. So it's also not building this capacity in the countries where the European universities are coming to. It's sharing and mobilizing the capacity that exists. So we started preparing early. Our success lies also in we don't react to the calls. We actually know what we're doing. We know what is coming. We know which cluster we belong to. And we have a great support from the research office. And this is really, I'm not saying it because Anne is here and she asked me to speak. I know it because it's really helpful, because people know how to read the call. People tell you what you're doing right or not, if you actually fit the purpose of the call. And it's also, we are strong in one of the requirements that is actually very important for the EU is open science. So it's one of the criteria where you've been evaluated on. So it's not only our tools that are open science, open data, it's also the principles of fair data, fair open data. So everything we do is open to public. You can check out the codes, you can see how the people, and then so anybody can take our tool and actually develop the community further. And it's being used both by those project partners, but it will also contribute to a larger educational research landscape in Europe and abroad. So the community is large. And yeah, so it's our science, our tools, our network, our people, and it's preparation. And then it's all our projects are collaborating with other projects across the European landscape. For example, this project is funded for the collaboration with African Union. It has funded the cluster, has been funding 4 more projects. So we have sister projects we collaborate with. So we try also to contribute to the goals of the European Horizon project by trying to coordinate the common, sort of like larger, broader collaboration as well. So, so we are actually, as part of our work packages, we're asked to collaborate with other projects. So we do not do the double work, for example. I did have slides, so I probably had more to say. But one more thing I'd like to maybe emphasize is that I also have experience as the expert evaluator for the proposals, and it is a great experience. You get to read a lot of good work. You get to read a lot of, well, maybe work that could be strengthened, but it really helps you to actually to understand what are the evaluators looking for. And then the strength of a consortium is important for you to prepare, but the strength of the application really depends on how you actually prepare your application. So reading other applications help. So if you have a national, or if your university has somebody like Anne and her team to support you, ask them to share this good examples and the bad examples if possible with you as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you. Can I just, when I have you on the podium, maybe I can just ask a quick question. First of all, you highlighted very good things in your intervention. For example, also the collaboration within the Horizon Europe project at large, and also the emphasis on building up the previous projects. Just a quick question. What would be your main sort of message for a researcher completely new to the Horizon Europe? What to do? What is the first step to take when you're interested in your Horizon Europe funding?
Well, I would say don't be overwhelmed and scared. I think the Commission is really good, like as it was said before, things haven't changed. So it's really easy to follow the instructions, and Sine is really good at explaining what to do. But then I would say it's good to have a confident and experienced project consortium leader. So don't try to be a consortium yourself first. Find somebody who knows what they're doing and actually can deliver on submitting a publication. Oh, sorry, that's the last part of the whole thing. Submitting the application, because this is what takes a lot of time. Coordinating the consortium, making sure people submit what they promise to submit, that you can organize the work packages, that they are coherent and actually like speak to each other. So it's having somebody who has this management skills, not only you can be excellent at research and you can be a really bad manager. So I think that's one of the, so it's sort of like multiple skills that are required of you, and then if you do not have those skills, find somebody who does, or ask somebody who knows where to find those people who have those skills.
Perfect. Any more questions maybe from the audience, or should we move on to the next if we have a tight schedule? Yeah, perfect.
Thank you very much. Quick question. You mentioned that you already prepared early before the call was out, and you knew what to prepare. So how did you know? And yeah, because it was like a annual continuous call, or yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah, so I think Anna is going to give like more clear instructions eventually, but you monitor the portal, so the commission advertise all this, so like the tendering portal is there, so you know approximately what are the subject areas, and then we know that this, for example, this call for the African Union, European Union high-level collaboration is coming every year, and so if we are ready, we have something, we want to continue, and we know, and we also know pretty much everybody else who is applying. Because we're kind of a niche thing. So that also helps.
Yeah. Indeed. Yes, we will also talk a little bit more about the participant portal that you mentioned, where all the calls will be published later on in the sessions today. Any more questions? No? But thank you so much, Marina, for your experiences, sharing your experiences. Thank you. So then moving on, as we are a little late in the program, we have Yongkook Yeong, assistant professor at KTH and assistant professor in production logistics at KTH. Yes.
Yeah.
So you have a project between Sweden-Korea collaboration that was also partly co-funded by the European funding, if I understand correctly.
It's from the Eureka Smart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So please.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Yongkook Jung. I will introduce my experience how the collaboration worked between Sweden and Korea. So to explain my research collaboration between Sweden and Korea, so I will also talk a bit about myself. So I did my studies in Korea. So I did my PhD in Korea and moved to Sweden as a postdoc. And since 2021, I'm working as assistant professor in production logistics. So to be honest, I had some kind of advantages between Sweden and Korea because doing a PhD in Korea and then postdoc and the other life in Sweden, that makes me to understand both countries and calls and the research schemes and so on. So in my case, I have some advantages both building network in two countries, and my field with my teams, we are very focused on application. So I'm doing research in production logistics, mostly for the digital tools for sustainability. So we are developing some digital platforms or digital services to improve the efficiency and also the sustainability perspective of the production system. So I'm doing very practical research. I'm not from a healthcare or the medicine, so it's very application perspective. So I didn't have an experience yet for the Horizon Europe. So my experience for the European collaboration was the Eureka. I think that Dan, you mentioned about the Eureka. Yeah. So my work is very like this, so sustainable production logistics and different scale of the production systems, but I have some value I want to improve, I want to contribute. So I think this is quite important for the European horizon. So you need to think about the impact, not just building the technological advancement. So in my case, my digital twin or cyber-physical system, they are focused on like a human-centric or sustainability or resilient and Industry 5.0 from the European Commission. But also, I'm also doing research on technological perspective, which are like AI tools, modeling and simulation, digital twin, and so on. So that's my background. And yeah, these are the things I do. So it's very technological oriented, and we do have lots of collaboration with the industry partners. So for me, that was very important. And as I mentioned, I had 2 different Eureka Smart projects. So to explain that one, in my case, I started the consortium building first because I knew the people from Korea, and I got to know some people from Sweden, what they are doing, and who are interested in specific fields. So in my case, I had some university partners in Korea, and they found like Korean partners in Korea. And in my case, we built some Swedish partners together, and we tried to build a topic together because we are very like industry-oriented case, and they had similar idea. But then, how can we distribute our idea? In our first case, we decided to focus on assembly process in Korea and the logistics process in Sweden. So we follow the same like methodology, but we try to develop different application from Sweden and Korea. So that was our approach in this case. And the second one, we kept the university partners because I think it's a bit easier to communicate with the industry partners, but we try to find like industry partners to do the second like a project. In this case, we follow the same method. We follow the same application, but we had a different methodology. So in this case, Korean consortium, they were trying to develop some machine learning algorithm, but in Sweden, together with the small and medium company in Sweden, we were focused on like a machine vision system. So the same application, but different methodology. So I think you can think about how to build your consortium in many different ways. So that was the thing I want to deliver here. And this collaboration was not just started from me. Even before me, I came to Sweden. My colleague in our department, they tried to build some like international collaboration from the Swedish Vinnova program. And then somehow, like I think I will talk about this later, but the networking is quite important. I think my boss and Korean supervisor, they met in some kind of a conference, and they started to think about, okay, maybe I can visit you for my sabbatical year. So my colleague from Sweden, they visit Korea, they visited KTH as a sabbatical year, and then randomly, not randomly, but they applied for the Eureka Smart even before me, and the KTH, they opened the position for postdoc, and I applied for it, so without knowing this happening, so it was just something happened for me. And then, since I'm like a Korean in Sweden, so we built this kind of network like this. So and then since my background is also in Korea, so I try to promote the like a visiting scholar or the master student exchange or PhD student visit from Sweden to Korea or from Korea to Sweden. So there were lots of mobility grant as well. So, and then we are continuing this. So during this time, we also applied for many special sessions in the conference. So we built a special session together, and we promote our result and so on. So like special session, joint workshop, and study visit, and maybe some cultural events. So that that helps us to build our how do I say, some like good consortium. And during this process, I learned something. Maybe it could be only for Sweden and Korea, but also maybe Korea to EU countries as well. So in our case, I think it was very important, those two like PIs, they decided to build this kind of consortium. So that was very important for me as well. And also the mobility and visit is very important. So if you have any chance to visit like some labs, or if you have an interest to go to the conference, I think that's very important. And also, as I mentioned before, this Korea and Sweden, we have like our own theme or our own application. So that helped us to maybe make our proposal more attractive because we have a quite clear role for between two countries. And then, yeah, and actually we didn't develop something new. We started from changing small thing as a methodology or small thing from the application. So we started from the small things and the joint conference and special sessions that helped us a lot and tried to make the clear deliverable to make our proposal very clear. So I think we have 7, yes. And in my case, maybe it's different from the field, but in my case, bring the attractive industry partner, that was quite important to build a strong consortium. So that's all I have prepared. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was very interesting. Now that I also have you on the podium there, so I will maybe just ask a quick question. As you are already been sort of navigating both research landscapes, and I would assume that you are also already a little bit prepared for Horizon Europe. Have you already been pondering on possibilities for funding for the upcoming calls, maybe?
Yes, and because the second Eureka Smart project will be finished in 2025, so for us it was really good opportunity to build another project from the EU Horizon between Sweden and Korea. So I contacted you, and we started to build some consortium together. But I think you also mentioned, our previous presenter also mentioned, we in EU Horizon, we have a different approach. We don't want to build a consortium first. We want to build our own idea first internally, so in our research group. So we are creating some idea, and we try to contact our previous partners. We have this idea, and do you want to join? So we are doing this kind of work for the next EU Horizon program.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Any questions from the audience on this presentation? No? I think we have to move on. I think we're already late in the schedule. So last, obviously, but not least, we will hear a perspective from Korean University, Professor Lee. Please, will you join us to the podium? Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much for introducing myself, and it's a great honor for me to be here for sharing my ideas and experience. Good morning, I'm Woo Kyun-lit, a professor of Korea University and in charge of Ojong Resilience Institute and Middle Latitude Region Network. And remained just 1.5 years to my retirement at Korea University. Actually, I had 2 projects with the Horizon 2020, and it was not easy for finding partners and topics, and also research site, research region. I recognize through my 2 projects, for Horizon 2020 participation, we need to have common interest, for example, between Korean partners and Swedish partners. And also we need to have common site, regions. Sweden and Korea is far from, very far, physically, geographically. Even though we have common interest and comparable and compatible technology. Without any physical or geographical site, it will be not easy for having for organizing kind of consortium between Korea and Sweden. Actually, I have been very interested in, of course, the Korean Peninsula. But as you know, Korean Peninsula is very small and divided. If I say something for Korean Peninsula, many people think more the political issues. North and South Korea, and something other atom the energy, something like that. So I expanded my interest to so-called the middle latitude region, including Korean Peninsula, Northern China, Mongolia, Central Asian countries, and Caspian Sea, and Black Sea, and the Mediterranean Sea. And then this sea, in this horizon belt, almost 50% of global people live in this area. And this area are experiencing water food energy nexus because semi-arid weather condition with low precipitation. If I say something for this mid-latitude region that many people are interested in, and we can build common senses. So I built the mid-latitude region network in 2014, and I have the hosted so-called expert group meeting in this region, also in European partners or colleagues, for keeping our network or strengthen our networking and spreading my interest to other European colleagues. I could set the region, middle latitude region. And then we could draw through expert group meeting common interest, water flow ecosystem nexus. And then we could also draw interesting technology, comparable technology, also observation data, AI. In Europe, there is a Copernicus from space agents, European space agents. So we could conclude we can deal with the water food energy nexus and middle latitude region, the horizon belt, where can be connected from Korea to European countries, and based on European Copernicus space agent data set with AI. It will be very good. So my colleague, Professor Harris Contes, suggested me to apply together for Horizon 2020 in 2016. 2016. It was very good for me. So I could join the Horizon 2020 with named EOPN using European Space Agency data set, Copernicus data set. And after successful the first project, we moved to second project. We are very successful with the young scientist, besides myself. And then they suggest to the second project. So we are successful for getting this second project with called Callisto, with 16 partners and it's 8 countries actually. It is a brief table for our 2 projects. And first, there are many organizations, institutes, universities from totally 25 countries, European countries. It was very huge. And then as I mentioned, we are focusing on water food energy nexus and food security, water security, and disaster reduction strategies, disaster risk reduction strategies using Earth observation data set with AI technology. Young scientists are very interested in using the innovative technology, Earth observation data set, and also AI technology. Actually, in Korea, they could not be interested in water food energy nexus, just in Korea. But when we expand our things to middle latitude region, our young scientists, research staffs, still getting interests, water-free energy nexus or security in middle latitude region, including Korean Peninsula, North Korea, and global aspect. It was very good for me. And at the time, we are not eligible to get the EU grant directly, so we needed to apply for Korean grant to NRF separately from EU Horizon 2020. Yeah, we have many scientific performances with the European Consortium. And it was very good for me as a professor. Without this the Horizon 2020 project, I needed to guide or consult my student by myself, just own. But with this consortium, it was good, really, for me. I can share my consultant to student with the European colleague and research staffs. And then young scientists in my lab, it would like to better to discuss with the European colleagues rather than me. And we have many, we could support almost 25 master and PhD students. And then we had many in-person meetings and online meetings and telecommunication meetings every week. It was very tough things, but young scientists kind of they could enjoy this kind of meeting with the European young people, with not old people, old Korean professor. I could be free from my student from Horizon 2020. Yeah, it was a good experience myself. One thing I could do, invite my colleague to Korea University in Korea and share our experience and send my young scientists to the organization and the countries. I found this Horizon 2020 project consortium consists of very huge members, professors, research staffs, and postdocs like that. And then my young scientists could enjoy to do something with them. It's a big the opportunity for us. And then my student, research staffs are very proud of to deal with together the AI technology, Earth observation data analysis, and deep learning technology, something like that, with not myself, with the European colleagues, European young people. They are very proud of it. And they are they don't hesitate to go European Institute for their postdoc as a Professor Zhang and as their career. It is not my last presentation. As I mentioned, I think we need to have common interest, common site, and common the technology, compatible, and computational technology. And I would like to suggest our future collaboration for doing something middle latitude region. As I mentioned, 50% of global population live in this area, and then suffering from water-free energy nexus because of semi-arid with low precipitation. This is a horizon belt, global. Through this horizon belt, we can get Horizon Europe together between Korea University and Sweden organization. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the presentation. And also thank you for the inspiration for probably the upcoming research programs. And most definitely in Brussels, there are lots of talks about the actual framework program for the next years. which is still under wraps, and maybe this might be exactly what is needed. Due to the time constraints again, so I'm looking if there's some questions to the audience, from the audience. Still jet-lagged, maybe? Well, maybe one final question. What would be, it's the same question actually as it was with my colleagues. What would be the main message that you would have for a new researcher, totally new in the European funding landscape, wanting to collaborate with European partners? What is the first concrete step to take in your...
I would like to just say, see broad aspects and see your strong point, also weak point. Weak point can be strengthened by the Horizon 2020 project. Strong point can play a role for having good partners. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I would like to thank all the panelists. I think we are wrapping up this session at the minute. I would also like to extend a warm thank to the audience for the questions, and most of all our panelists for sharing their experiences in European funding. So we also encourage you to take this opportunity to connect with one another, connect with us as well, in these questions about Horizon Europe, and possibly we will have some potential collaboration that hopefully will be channeled and funded through Horizon Europe. Who knows? So thank you all.